Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the StabCast, and we are here on another spooky Sunday.
Yes, we are. And I'm really excited. I had my Art the Clown t-shirt on.
Yes.
I'll show you guys all it here. I'll stand up for a second.
Stand
show
up.
you guys all of it and all of its Temu glory. Okay, this is free
Right off the moon.
from Temu. I don't know why my fiance decided to just all of a sudden like Temu.
Yeah.
But he did. So I got this, and then I got a free pair of earrings. You know, I fuck it.
Yeah.
Because the earrings that I got were Michael Myers themed, and it's like, you know me so well. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get to it.
Horror what ifs this week. We're going to be talking about alternate timelines instead of just reviewing a movie, which is always fun. But instead of doing that or a ranking or anything else, we're going to be talking about alternate scenarios and what if things didn't go the way they could have, whether behind the scenes or in the movie itself, because I think we both have a mix of that. So let's get into it right away. You ready?
You know I'm psyched.
All right.
You already know I'm ready for this episode. I'm very excited.
So my first what if in Scream 1, what if Billy was the only killer?
Oh, so like what if Stu was like not a killer and it was just
You could go any way with that to
But-
where
But though in Scream 3 though, wouldn't Roman retcon that? Because in Scream 3, Roman said, I told Billy that he needed to have a fall guy.
well, yeah, it would change the whole universe of Scream. So let's go
Okay.
through how that could happen.
And that would be weird. I mean, it would be really weird because I also feel like if Stu wasn't a killer, he probably would have tried to protect Sydney.
I don't think he lives past the movie, though. That's
No.
the only thing that I don't think it changes that much in that scenario to where I don't think Stu makes it out of that movie, even though technically I guess he kind of did, but he didn't really. But yeah, no, I don't think he makes it out. And I think he gets killed, probably not early, but like around after Tatum gets killed at the party. He probably gets
Exactly.
fucked
Like
up.
he put two and two together and realized that
When he
Billy
does
was
the I'll be
killer.
right back, like he probably gets fucked up.
Yeah.
So or screwed.
Yeah.
So I like Billy as the only killer, and I think it would be more impactful to an extent. There is a fright
You are
factor.
right, because technically Stu didn't really have a motive.
No.
He was just cuckoo.
That's what kind of made it though, and that's why you're like taken away from the movie at that point if you change that. Because I do think that the fact that Billy had this deep motive and Stu was just there because his buddy was doing it, it makes total sense to like how friends are in high school and be like followers. Like he was the ultimate follower that his buddy was like, hey, let's do this. They've been watching horror movies together. He's like, hey, let's do it. And he was just kind of crazy and loony. And that's what helped make Matthew Lillard in that. And he played that perfectly too.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you are right. He could have went either way.
Yeah.
So, my first one just happens to be about Scream as well. And this is, what if Randy Meeks was actually Ghostface?
This would be interesting.
Because he knows so much horror lore. He knows he knows all the rules. He knows things not to say. Like, I just feel like he would have been a good Ghostface.
Well, and logistically, he might end up actually being able to like make it out of the movie with killing all of them, and Sydney's not even the final girl anymore. Because him and Stu are outside the door. She doesn't let either of them in. Billy comes down bleeding. Hypothetically, in this, he really got stabbed. You know, he really, because he's not a killer.
Yeah.
And Randy comes out back, and Billy's sitting there bleeding, and then he could just come stab Sydney, call it a day, and not do all the other stuff. And
it can be like a scary movie ending where Doofy freaking got away with everything.
yeah.
There you go. Randy can be our Doofy.
I mean, he was too much of the heart of that movie to an extent to be the Ghostface killer.
He was.
It would be fun to have the geeky guy do it, and they did experiment with that with Macaulay Culkin's brother in Scream 4.
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, and he was the geeky kid that kind of ended up being the killer.
The film geek.
So we've seen it done.
Mhm.
We have seen it done.
Yeah.
I don't think that Randy in particular his actor, Jamie Kennedy, who I love Jamie Kennedy. Even though he's an absolute weirdo, I do love Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, but you're right though. In that time era with him like having a baby face and whatnot, it is a little kind of like hard to believe with the actor, not the character, but with the actor at least. So
I like, and maybe his Hollywood career goes differently if he's the killer and he can do a different type of performance like that. Because let's be honest, Jamie Kennedy ended up being a Hollywood flop. When your biggest movies are The Son of the Mask, which was a huge bust.
Hey, don't you hate on Malibu's Most Wanted?
I like that movie, but not a lot of other people did.
I know. Not a lot of people like the comedy movies that I like.
All right.
I was asking, what's your favorite comedy? What's your favorite comedy? You don't want to know. I'll piss you off.
Now, this is a question that it's not tied to the dark universe and what they tried to do. So let's separate it from that. But what if they tried a shared universe with classic horror characters? And I'm thinking like slasher villains, like Freddy, Jason, Michael, all in the same thing, Chucky.
Leatherface.
Yeah, all kind of in the same universe. And then maybe you introduce like not a hero, but somebody to combat that. And maybe that's when your Tommy Jarvises end up being more souped up
or your Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool, especially because they did the Ash versus the Evil Dead horror movie series.
Yeah,
so that would have been really cool to integrate that with that story as well. Honestly, I feel like those two stories would have meshed extremely well.
It would be cool. And a lot of fights would be like Freddy versus Jason we've seen, but Freddy versus Michael would be an interesting cerebral thing, and him trying to like tap into his dreams and go to the childhood and the stuff with his sister and there could be interesting scenes.
Yeah, because how messed up is Michael Myers' head's gonna be? That's like the number one question. Like Michael Myers' head is going to be really
yeah, like Jason, we know about him drowning and everything, but there's a little more lore to Michael.
Yeah, because Michael, like every single film, every single director has done Michael's childhood and at least adulthood in a different fashion.
Yeah,
in a different way. So. And
Chucky running around stabbing Leatherface's legs as he's running around with the chainsaw. Like that would be fucking.
He's just like a cat hiding around.
There's something interesting about that. There is something really interesting about it.
You're not wrong.
I don't think story-wise you could really do it, because how are you going to link all that stuff up without it being cheesy and corny and seeming like it's only being done for money?
Oh, absolutely.
Because all those shared universes are just after MCU started printing billions of dollars, Marvel, everybody wanted to get on board, which I think we'll get into even more with our what ifs.
Yes.
But this is a true example of that. It would be, and it might print money. Like it might do well if you see those guys on posters next to each other in big films.
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't know how much you can link a really good story to that without it just being cool stuff.
Exactly, and without it being like a corny Michael Bay like action production.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing about a lot of these is it probably would never happen.
Yeah. So.
All right.
That's why it's what ifs, because we know it's probably never going to happen.
What's your number 2?
What if Carrie from Stephen King's Carrie was amazingly beautiful young girl? Like, what if she was just like drop dead gorgeous? Still had powers. Still got picked on for some odd reason.
Well, I was about to say in the remake, that girl wasn't that ugly like as she was supposed to be.
I mean, she was supposed to be awkward looking, honestly, and she did that well. She's supposed to be awkward looking, but I mean, you know what I mean, like a drop dead gorgeous type of girl.
The simple answer to me is, I think, not too much if the mom's still crazy and treats her the way she treats her.
Oh, I gotta check them.
But if she's so popular and she's so like amazing that her mom's like not like that, and like she's like way less, and she just lets her be herself and be with school. Carrie's like a rom-com, and it's not even a scary movie anymore. And
I turned Carrie into a rom-com, and I don't even like rom-coms. That's so funny.
Which would be interesting in theory, but I don't think she ever really has to drop the blood because she doesn't feel picked on by other people. Even though some of the most bullied girls in school, speaking from experience, even though I'm not a girl, but I've seen it, uh, are like pretty girls that other girls are just threatened by. It is the nerdy, the
or
world
the
of,
girls that
yeah.
hang out with the guys.
Yeah, the tomboys, and there's a whole sector of it. But there are those sector of really pretty girls that just, and the other pretty girls just don't like them, and they shit on them all the time, and it's not cool. So that could still happen to Carrie. You never know.
Yeah.
My number 3 is, what if Tom Cruise's Mummy movie worked? Which is what was supposed to start that Dark Pictures universe, and we were going to get Johnny Depp's Invisible Man.
I don't know how I feel about Johnny Depp being in the Invisible Man. I really don't. And I love Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I love it. He's coming out with a new movie called Ebenezer soon, and I can't wait. But I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, and Tom Cruise's Mummy movie literally feels like a Marvel ripoff. Was it Kurt Russell he was like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, and he was acting like he was like trying to be like Sam Jackson's Nick Fury and telling him everything that's going on in the universe and stuff. And it's like, we're trying to do too much here, man. And they made the Mummy into if you're going to do a Dark Pictures in a horror universe, you're going to have to start out with some horror stuff. No. You don't start out with a Tom Cruise action movie, because they turned the Mummy, even though the Mummy under Brendan Fraser was already an action movie, and it really wasn't a horror. But
it kind of was in the first one.
To an extent,
to a degree.
But once you get to the second one and he's fighting The Rock, it's not anymore. No. And that CGI was terrible. But I do think that it would be interesting if it worked, because it would be another like action and we could see some good horror movies in a cinematic franchise that's not The Conjuring.
Yes.
So if you're not into ghost stories, it'd be cool to see other horror films. Yes. In a shared universe, which would be cool.
And I completely agree.
But starting out, they would have had to start out with that, with probably not Tom Cruise, or Tom Cruise doing something completely different and doing a straight Mummy horror movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Turning that into an action movie is what kind of flopped it. You needed to go scary from the jump. Like Johnny Depp's Invisible Man could work if it got really scary. And even though the Invisible Man is more about the performance of the female, like we saw in the movie they did, which they made it unrelated to the Dark Pictures universe because it flopped. But it would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely would have.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is, what if the Halloween franchise decided to keep going with basically the one that didn't really work, but the anthology part of how they wanted Halloween to be.
Yeah.
Like, I really think it would be interesting to see what would have happened had they never put Michael Myers back in.
Well, I think it would still
just kept with the third one and then kept with like the anthology-ness of it, because it could have been cool.
Yeah.
It really could have been. It really could have been cool.
Well, Michael, in that scenario, Michael goes from like probably the most popular slasher villain to like number 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Because I still will believe, even if he only has that one movie and then they go anthology after that, I think that they'll still reboot him later on and do a Michael story. I think Rob Zombie will still want to do his take on that later, even if there's only one movie, because that movie's so classic. So if that movie still exists, I think there'll be reboots to happen later. But if they go on with the anthology, it would be interesting and it would be something different. And I think it could have worked, and it would have made sense for something called Halloween to be that. And to be like different Halloween scenarios and different things going on instead of just one killer. Yeah. So I would have loved to see where that went. And I don't know if they can get 8, 9, 10 movies out of that, but
probably not, but it would have been just, instead of the serial killer and whatnot, it would have been just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That's how I would see it.
And if we haven't taken enough hits at Michael's legacy, my number 4, what if Halloween never existed in the first place?
Oh my God.
The playoff years. Because I think horror and slashers are completely different. I'd like to say that Jason Voorhees ends up becoming the icon and becoming the guy that but I don't even know if Jason Voorhees exists without Michael. So it'd be interesting to see where horror goes without a big hulking monster. He kind of set the precedence for that. I don't know.
Yeah,
you
totally.
might still get Freddy because he's different enough and it's cerebral, and Wes Craven's that much of a genius.
Mhm.
But besides that, I don't think you get like the Jason Voorhees and the big hulking killers that we would see over and over again that Hollywood would try to make us. And I don't know. I think history and slasher history goes very different, and I think you see a lot more. I think you see.
You're absolutely right.
I think you see a lot more of those POV movies for a long time,
Mhm.
where when they're unaliving people, they're doing it that way, where it's from the killer shot.
Mhm.
And I don't think, because Michael kind of set the precedence from the third view when you seeing him do it.
Yeah.
The other ones like Black Christmas and all those were POV.
Exactly.
even
I
the
mean,
first
and
Freddy.
Black Christmas
Or
was
Jason.
the very first like slasher or whatever, or serial killer or slasher. And there's something about that movie that I'd rather watch Halloween.
Yeah.
Sad, but I'd rather watch Halloween.
I agree.
So
What's your
my
number
fourth
4?
one is, what if Cloverfield was actually based in San Francisco instead of New York City?
This is an interesting one, depending on where your views are politically.
I wasn't thinking of politics. You're a dick. I wasn't even bringing politics into it. I just thought it'd be cool to have the San Francisco bridge blow up.
That would be a crazy visual.
That was like the main thing I was going with, bruh.
They better show the Full House too.
And then just put everybody
While it's
Okay.
exploding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be interesting. New York City is just, ripe for cataclysm. And people just like telling stories.
Yeah, but it's
around
been
that.
done so many different times.
It has.
So why not go to a different city?
And it all kind of feels like a cheap play on like a real tragedy, which isn't too fun to make movies off of and make profit and money.
Okay.
In New York City. I mean, I'm agreeing with your point. I'm not talking about San Francisco. I'm talking about
okay.
New York City. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
I think because a lot of those movies are just playing on 9/11 and the tragedy of that,
And even before then, like Godzilla and whatnot was based in
and that's
New York
obviously way
City
before.
all that stuff. Like when you have a monster, they normally, and King Kong, normally they take them to U.S. Normally they take them to New York City.
Yeah.
So.
Because that was a lot of people's, even though it's superhero, problem with Batman versus Superman was that the Superman fight in Man of Steel was it was kind of supposed to replicate that in New York City and the how people felt with buildings on fire but even though it was way worse and buildings were falling and stuff, it's why are you doing a play on that? A lot of, and some people it doesn't always hit their taste. To me, it can be a cool imagery and stuff. If it's done right cinematically. And
it all depends
Cloverfield
on
does
shot.
do it right, by the way. Cloverfield's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think San Francisco would be a more fun setting.
That's what I was trying to get at. It would just be more I think artistically pleasing.
I agree.
Just to watch it, the blow-ups and stuff. Yeah, we would have a hard time explaining subways and tunnels and whatnot, but they could work through it.
Yeah. All right, my number 5. What if Pixar made a horror movie?
Doug, I was trying to talk to you about this the other day, and you completely blew me up. Get off your phone, Doug.
Well, he doesn't want to disrupt the program. Yeah, he's not
Help me.
Show. But I think if Pixar made a horror movie, it would be tremendous. I think it could change the game because they're so good at making movies and they're so good at putting a message in their movies. Doing that with a horror movie, obviously it can't be for kids. And when you release that with their animation, a lot of kids will go see it,
You're
and a lot
talking
of parents
about it
will be
like
like,
it's Veggie Tales, dude.
yeah, but I think, well, the Pixar movies, you always, whenever you walk out of a Pixar movie, you're like, that was so sweet how they learned that at the end. They always learn something, and it's always a sweet message. And you can do that within the terms of a horror movie, and with animation, it costs a lot less to do a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you can do, even though I do think it would be horrific for a lot of parents to see, like, to be like, because it would be an adult movie, obviously. So to do that with the Pixar art style would be very hard to do. But I think it could.
Like Shrek would be like more ogre-like than anything.
Yeah, well, it's not
That'd
Shrek,
be
but like
weird.
Toy Story and stuff. Like that. Like Pixar's very distinct animation style.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Shrek is DreamWorks.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it could be a fun idea. What's your number 5?
You're gonna laugh because it's something that we've talked about a lot, which is what if Sidney Prescott was the mastermind behind all of the murders, including her mother?
Yes.
Like she's just completely screwed up in
It
the
was her
head,
that had
and
the
she
whole-
planned everything.
It was her doing it. Yeah.
Now, the only reason I even went to this is because I don't know if I ever showed to you, but she made a movie in 1999 called Wild Things.
Yeah.
And in that movie, she kind of showed a dark side to Neve Campbell, and very conniving, very slick, able to pull things off behind other people's backs and whatnot. So I feel like the actress could have the range to pull that off.
I agree.
I just don't know how many movies we would have gotten with it.
I agree with that too. I agree with both those things. If you retconned it now, I mean, it's a popular fan theory that it's like, what if this movie is the movie that Sydney snaps and it's her doing it? And that's not necessarily like she did it the whole time. It would be a huge retcon, and that would be a crazy montage flashback to have her go back, and it was her that did it with Billy, and she killed Billy, and she did all that. Like, to maneuver all that would be a lot of hard storytelling. It would be funny. I think it would feel cheap at the end of the day, but it would
would have to be very well done for it to not feel cheap.
Yeah. I think it would be hilarious. And you and me would be like, we've been calling it for 10 years. So her going crazy and being ghost-faced has been out there. Mm-hmm. Her planning the whole thing is diabolical almost.
Yeah. But, I mean, you never know. Because, I mean, she said through, like, the first 3 screams that, like, she really wasn't a good person like everyone thought she was and stuff. So, like, maybe she was trying to hint towards the fact that she set everything up.
Yeah. Okay. What if Jenna Ortega never landed Wednesday?
Oh! Your dick. I feel like we wouldn't have a Wednesday. I feel like we wouldn't have that show.
I think we would.
I really don't think we would. I really feel like she's like the perfect one for that. I don't think there'd be anybody that could replace Jenna.
I don't think it would blow up and be huge, but I think they would make it and go 1 or 2 seasons and flop probably.
Yeah.
I think she would go down as not as one of the more famous actresses of this generation, but like an underrated scream queen that did X and still horror movies. And like, I think she would go down as like underrated and really good in scary movies. I don't think she would blow up.
She was also in Babysitter Killer Queen or whatever.
Yeah, because let's be honest, with Scream and everything, they were big lands for her, but her blow up was Wednesday. Like, by the time you got to Scream 6, and it was after Wednesday, she's the biggest thing.
But they did decide while casting Wednesday, and this is part of the reason why they went with Jenna, is because the studio and Tim Burton did decide they wanted to keep the entire family as Latino as they could.
Yeah.
So that's one of the major reasons that she got it.
But that's one of the super interesting things from Scream 5 to 6 to Scream 5. She's one of the... not the least famous in the cast, but not.
Dude,
I don't even
the only
think
time she even
4.
has scenes, and she even said this in an interview, the only person she ever worked with in that movie was Melissa, The girl that played Amber and Ghostface.
Yeah. And she was an integral part of the movie, so I'm not taking that away from her. But as far as popularity in the cast, I don't even know if she was in the top 5 of most famous in that cast. By the time you get to Scream 6, after Wednesday, she blows up. She's the most famous in the cast over Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell's not in that one, so there's not much competition there. But over everybody else in the cast, she's the most famous there, and it's just kind of funny. We'll probably cap it at like 8 and save it for part 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
you're good.
But what is your number 6?
What if Cry Wolf wasn't a prank? What if the movie really did have a serial killer, the Cry Wolf guy, and what if the people really did die instead of it being a prank?
Interesting, and I think you could get a lot more out of it too.
Okay,
that's what I like.
I was thinking, that maybe you could even get a sequel out of it. You could get a lot more fleshed out.
I agree. And now the title's not so on the nose, because that title is basically telling you hey, it's a prank and this is a spoiler. Mm-hmm. It's literally called Cry Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be interesting if it was he thought if there's an alternate ending where it really was.
Yeah.
What he thought it was.
Absolutely, because he got the main person in that movie really got very, very screwed over in a way. So if it wasn't a prank, everything that he would have done would have been justified.
Absolutely. That's an interesting one.
So what's your 7th, bro?
My number 7 is what if Mrs. Voorhees never passed?
Oh, so if she was behind the scenes the entire time, coaching Jason?
No, in the first movie she succeeds. She just takes out Alice and she doesn't lose her head.
She just goes off into sunset?
Well, no, what could happen after that? Does Jason still come back, or her and Jason out there doing it together? Are they living happily ever after? What could happen?
I don't know, because the reason why he came out is because she died.
Yeah.
So that's a really hard question.
Yeah.
To answer, just because of the fact that they were so connected that when she died, he rose up.
Does Friday blow up without Jason? Because people do like the first one, but it's not. The legacy of Friday the 13th is Jason Voorhees.
Exactly.
It's a fun fact.
I still have to argue with people about how in the first one, Jason was not a killer.
Yes. There's a reason they do that in Scream.
Mm-hmm.
In Scream 1. I thought it would be interesting, but that is a wrinkle of the story that is kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's your number 7?
Okay, so everyone's gonna be like, huh? But what if Brenda's boyfriend in Urban Legend was actually the killer? What if Brenda died from the prank? And it was him that had to be behind everything. And how would he insert himself into that friend group? Would he be able to get along with Jared Leto and all those people? Would he try and how Brenda tried to be the one girl's best friend? Would he try to date her?
Yeah.
So I understand it'd be a completely different movie. I just feel like that would be really cool to flesh out on.
Yeah. That is an interesting thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jared Leto in that movie.
Even
though he's in hot water, saying the words "I love Jared Leto" probably shouldn't be said right now. But he's not one of my favorite actors. But we
just really like 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, no, they're okay.
I did.
Yeah, don't put me with that.
I did.
You can put me with Fall Out Boy, but that's just because of Sugar going down swing. I love that song.
Anchor Knee Jumper, the one that's hey, Chris, you were our only friend.
That's a great one, but it's not.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Okay, so what's your number 8? Let's close you out.
Let's close me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if Adam Sandler did a horror movie? It's a true scary. And what would it be? What
I am
genre?
officially fucking dead.
Is it a ghost movie? Is it a slasher movie? Is it a
I got it.
Zombie
Zombie movie with all of his little fucking friends and shit. Like a Shaun of the Dead 2.0.
You want grown-ups in a zombie world?
I think it would work, but we
Just,
take out the kids.
Yeah, that would be. It would be interesting.
Or we could do like a Ghostbusters. Well, I'm sorry, but I feel like I like Adam Sandler. I love him. I'll always like him, but I feel like the older he gets, the cheesier he gets.
Yeah.
And so I really could see like him and that Kevin guy and whatnot be Ghostbusters.
That's hilarious. I would love to see that.
So I think that would be really funny. So we're gonna cap this at 8. And we're gonna come back and do a part 2 next week. So my number 8 is going to be, what if Unfriended was a practical joke?
Ooh.
That was being played on Blair, and Laura was orchestrating it with everyone else.
And they all just came back in with like, ha!
Yeah, to like make her pay.
Yeah.
Kind of like maybe the 80s movie April Fool's Day that I showed you.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
That's cool. I think it would be interesting. It would be an effective ending, and it would be like, I think the movie's still scary with thinking that that's happening the whole time and then figuring out it's not. I don't think it takes away from the scariness, so it would be really interesting.
Okay.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I do think it would be really cool to see if they all pulled off this big, huge practical joke.
Yeah.
Against Blair.
And I would love for that chubby dude to still be with us. So.
R.I.P. Chubby. We love you, man.
I love that guy. He was the man.
You really were the man. You were trying everything. You were on the computer trying to you were being the tech guy and whatnot. You were the comic relief. I loved you.
He was doing everything.
So, but yes. So next Sunday we will be doing part 2.
Yes.
Of this.
What ifs.
Of what ifs.
So send us yours on the TikTok and on the YouTube. Comment, message us, and tell us what ifs you have, and we'll do those on the show too. Plus more of our own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will see everybody next time.
And hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Have a good night.